By TechTime Radio. Visit them online at techtimeradio.com.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah, what's going on?
Hey, have you ever heard of turbo debt?
No, what is that, something to get me into debt faster?
No, turbo debt is not to get you in debt faster. It's to help you get out of debt. Do you have over $10,000 in credit card, personal loans, medical, or payday loans?
Of course I have debt. That's the American way.
Au contraire, mon frere. Turbo debt will give you the option to break the debt cycle and start putting money in your pocket.
That's awesome.
Over 70% of Americans die with credit card debt. Do not let this happen to you. Turbo debt will give you an option to break the debt cycle and start putting money in your pocket.
That's awesome.
If you have over $10,000 in credit card debt and personal loans, medical or payday loans, they can help. Go to turbodebt.com/techtime. Again, that's turbodebt.com/techtime, all capitalized, for a free consultation today. TurboDebt is a proud sponsor of this week's episode of TechTime Radio.
Broadcasting across the nation from the East Coast to the West, keeping you up to date on technology while enjoying a little whiskey on the side, with leading-edge topics, along with special guests, to navigate technology in a segmented, stylized radio program. The information that will make you go, Pull up a seat, raise a glass with our hosts as we spend the next hour talking about technology for the common person. Welcome to TechTime Radio with Nathan Mumm.
Welcome to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm, the show that makes you go, Technology News of the Week, the show for the everyday person talking about technology, broadcasting across the nation with insightful segments on subjects weeks ahead of the mainstream media. We welcome our radio audience of 35 million listeners to an hour of insightful technology news. Each week our show covers the top technology subjects without any political agenda. We verify the facts, and we do it with a sense of humor in less than 60 minutes, and of course, with a little whiskey on the side. We are live streaming during our show on 5 of the most popular platforms, including YouTube, Twitch.tv, Twitter-X, Facebook, and LinkedIn. We encourage you to visit us online at techtimeradio.com and become a Patreon supporter at patreon.com/TechTimeRadio. I'm Nathan Mumm, your host, a technologist with 30 years of technology expertise working for Fortune 500 companies across the country. My co-host here, Mike Roday, is an award-winning author, originally from Arizona. Mike's a human behavior expert living in the Seattle area with a master's degree in forensic psychology. Mike's here to keep me from geeking out while providing insight into human behavior and how it interacts with technology. Now, our whiskey connoisseur, Mark Gregoire, is not here, so we're going to go back to our traditional way that we do it, where Mike's going to read our information, but Mark has lots of notes regarding our whiskey, so that should be exciting, too. We are friends from different backgrounds, but bring the technology show best for you each week for our family, friends, and fans to enjoy. Welcome, everyone. Let's start today's show.
This is your... Now on today's show.
Well, on today's show, we have...
I feel like something went wrong
back.
there.
We did. You know, we were just talking about Miller filling in for Odie last week, and you know what? I said Odie was doing a great job, and then the first thing she does, she goes right to the Nathan Nugget.
Way to go,
There you
Odie.
go. All right, today on Tech Time with Nathan
Can
Mumm.
I have some of those drugs you're taking?
Researchers steal passwords using only keyboard sounds, and why North Korea hacked Russia for missile information. Next, we have a story about Bonnie and Clyde going wrong, as we have Razzle Khan and her husband who are found guilty of $4.5 billion in Bitcoin laundering heist. We're going to be talking about that. Plus, Mike dives into the social algorithms, explaining how humans learn from their peers. And finally, did Microsoft save Apple back in the 90s? We're going to explore the story with some insider information. I was working at Microsoft at that time, so we're going to be talking about that specifically a little bit later if we get to the Nathan Nugget. And of course, we have our standard features, Mike's mesmerizing moment, and our technology fail of the week. As always, we have our pick of the day whiskey tasting during the commercials to see if our selected whiskey pick gets 0, 1, or 2 thumbs up at the end of the show. So sit back, raise a glass, and welcome to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm. Now, it's time for the latest headlines in the world of technology.
Here are our top technology stories of the week.
All right, story number 1. Razzle Khan and her husband were found guilty of a $4.5 billion Bitcoin laundering scheme that happened. We're going to go to our ABC News out of New York for more on these details.
34-year-old Elia Lichtenstein and his wife Heather Morgan charged with conspiracy to launder $4.5 billion in stolen Bitcoin. Federal investigators say the couple tried to launder funds that were stolen during a 2016 hack of Bitfinex, a platform where cryptocurrency is exchanged. The Justice Department also seized $3.6 billion worth of the cryptocurrency, the largest financial seizure in the department's history.
All right, so we got a husband and wife crime team.
How do you launder a Bitcoin?
Well, how you launder Bitcoin is what you do is you illegally hack into an exchange with other people's credentials. You then transfer that money into their master account, is what Morgan and Lichtenstein did. And then essentially what you do is you have it sit there, and then when the New York police come after you and they trace it back to this heist, what you do is you spend all of that money creating rap.
Talking about your rap?
Yeah, creating rap music videos.
Okay, so this is really about dumb criminals.
Well, not dumb criminals, because they were able to convince thousands of people in the crypto exchange to invest money because they created their own crypto exchange.
Okay.
We always talk about this.
Yeah, we talk about this quite a bit.
So they created their own crypto exchange.
It's a hustle.
Correct. Then they logged into people's accounts. They transferred all of that money that they had, which was essentially actually theft is what it is.
Yeah, they stole it.
They stole it, put it into their account, and then essentially we're going around New York City spending the money as if it was just free money available for anybody.
Investing in her rapping.
Yeah, as a part of the plea deal, Lichtenstein admitted that he was behind the hack. A couple both pleaded guilty to money laundering. So after you get the money, then you have to figure out how you're going to siphon it off by creating a rap video.
I love this.
Morgan
she
pleaded
wanted
guilty
to become a rap star so bad that she had to go thug life and steal some crypto.
Well, in spite to cover up all the crimes, Morgan published dozens of explicitly filled music videos with rap songs filmed in locations all across New York under the name RazzleCon. In her lyrics, she calls herself a badass moneymaker and the crocodile of Wall Street. And to make things worse, she had no business rapping, as she has only 356K views in 4 years. So this is horrible.
Clearly, she was on the road to something great.
No, because after 4 years, so this would be...
Was she rapping for 4 years?
This is like the worst episodes of TechTime Radio with nobody watching.
So she was rapping for 4 years.
Yes.
They were investing all this $4.5 million into a rap star.
Yes.
She had no clue about it, too.
No. Now, so you know what? But I don't want to judge this lady in her rapping ability.
All right. She's a white lady.
Yes.
Who is trying to rap.
Yes.
And we're talking like serious rap.
Well, you know what?
Where she's,
Odie, you have some audio here. We're going to go to the audio, and you be the judge of how well she raps.
The Versace better win. Come real far, but don't know where I'm headed. Crocodile of Wall Street. Silver on my fingers and boots on my feet. Always be a goat, not a sheep. Email me. Message at the beep. 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 Beep.
All right, now Odie's all in the music.
I don't know about this. This is
Odie's in the music. Odie, what'd you think of that rapping? That was RazzleCon's rapping. That's her lead album. That's her #1 song that she has currently on the charts right now on her YouTube file. What do you think?
I think we need to bring back bullying.
We need to bring back who?
Bullying.
Okay.
Because that is not good at all.
That's not good at all. No.
What is she even rapping about?
She's the moneymaker and the crocodile of Wall Street.
I think she saw Malibu's Most Wanted and really just needed to be that guy.
So here's the
obviously,
deal.
It was a hard listen to.
Yeah.
Tell you.
So you steal money, you launder the money by creating bad rap videos out there, thinking that you're going to become some pop star, and then you get arrested, and you essentially have to cop to a plea deal.
Yeah. Well, I wonder what that plea deal looked like.
So it's undisclosed, but I'm sure what they did is they showed the ways that they got into the money, they had what was taken care of, but. Yeah, that's bad criminals / lead story /
apparently Thug Life did not agree with her.
It did not. And her rapping videos, you should just go check it out. Again, Razzlecon.
No,
R-A-Z-Z-L-E.
don't feed it. Don't
K-H-A-N.
feed it.
Go. Well, it's worth.
You're
it's
trying
worth
to feed
watching
the
2 or
beast.
3. No, you know what? You should go
She has
watch 2 or 3.
356,000 followers, right?
No, those were views. She doesn't have hardly any
views.
followers.
She has 4 followers.
She's got a couple more than that, but it is bad. I mean, it is. It's not like bad is funny, type of deal. It's like bad, like they're trying to be serious about this, and they have all these actors in New York.
This is to me, this is what you would call a delusional state
of mind.
Sure, yeah,
absolutely.
I'm gonna be an awesome rapper.
Yeah,
and I'm a white lady talking about Tiffany. I don't know.
I probably have about as much chance to be a rapper myself as she did.
Her name was Razzlecon. Huh?
I know, Razzlecon.
There's an award for the Razzies. Does she qualify for that?
I don't know. Dunder Mifflin would probably pass on her resume. Let me tell you that. All right, Mike, let's go on to story number 2.
Okay, so we're going to talk about how social media algorithms exploit how humans learn. Okay, because this is one of these areas that we haven't really touched on in the past. We've talked a lot about how social media has contributed to the rates of depression and anxiety and stuff like this, and how this form of technology is supposed to be this big boon, and it actually has a really bad side effect on people.
Okay,
and one of the new studies that have come out has shown that this also affects how we learn, because in a pre-technological society, we learn through our social groups. Okay. So
if I'm out farming and all my buddies were farmers, I learned to farm.
We have in our lives we have what's called in groups and out groups.
Okay.
Right. And so a social group is an in group, and that could be as small as a family unit or as large as maybe a village or something. Right.
Okay.
So there are studies that show that after about 200 people, that stuff starts to break down. But in these social groups, humans used to learn how to do things, how to prioritize information, how to categorize information, and to follow these rules. Okay.
Essentially, are you talking about the report that came out on August 3rd? Is that what you're talking about, referencing?
Yeah.
Okay.
The problem that we're having right now is that with the advent of all these online things, and we've talked about it in the past. It's been in the news about especially about false information.
Okay.
And how we process information and how we prioritize information that we see that is not related to us.
Okay.
Right. So what's going on here is that on August 3rd, the Trends in Cognitive Science, which is a group of social scientists, describe how these functions of social media algorithms are misaligned with human social instincts that are meant to foster cooperation, because that's what we do when we're in our in-group without technology. We tend to prioritize information that helps the group cooperate and grow. Okay. The problem with social media is that it skews that and sort of creates a problem where we take those instincts that are meant to foster cooperation and hijack them into areas where we're creating these large-scale polarization and misinformation issues.
Okay.
So, this goes, of course, specifically to the election fraud that we always talk about concerning social media. For instance, several users surveys on X,
Twitter,
and Facebook suggest most users are exhausted by the political content they see. A lot of users are unhappy, and there's a lot of reputational components that Twitter and Facebook must face when it comes to elections and the spread of misinformation. What these folks, the social psychologists, wanted to do is wanted to put out a systematic review that's trying to help understand how human psychology and algorithms interact in the ways that can have these consequences. So humans are biased, or we have a preference for learning from others in a way that promotes cooperation
Okay.
and collective problem solving. And we do that through our social relationships and also who we deem as holding a prestigious position in those social categories. But with social media, those are often washed out because we don't actually know if the person that we are paying attention to is actually has that prestige because they say they do or because they've actually earned it.
Okay.
So when learning biases are first evolving, morally and emotionally charged information is important to prioritize. And in contrast with algorithms are trying to get one thing, and that's social engagement on that idea or whatever that is. So the algorithms are basically hijacking our need for this social cooperation and feeding us information based on the originator's desire to get social engagement. So the information is processed through this kind of false window, which creates these situations.
So I got a question on this. So I get it that we're not learning necessarily from our grandfathers and our fathers in the survey, right? So I get that aspect. But is there learning that is actually going on in like YouTube? So if I need to learn how to change a spark plug, if I need to learn how to change something mechanical in my car, I actually have found it myself, if I was to do a survey, that I actually go to YouTube and I'll watch a video of how to change something on my car.
Sure.
And
okay, that's a practical learning tool. Okay, so that's in a way, yeah. If the guide doesn't absolutely know what he's doing, and you follow his instructions and break your car, that's one issue. But we're talking about more complex social rules and followings and biases, not simply practical maintenance tips, right?
Okay.
So if I follow you on social media because I think you have information that I need, and you're actually filling me with information that you think is important to you, and it really has no basis in any sort of facts, I'm going to take that information and create it as part of my influencing ideals with the people I hang out with.
Gotcha.
And so it is creating this sort of washed out. It's not destroying our way of learning. What it's doing is basically hijacking it, and because of the way we process that information.
Okay. All right. Well, that makes sense. Okay, that was a good report there. All right, let's go to story number three. Story number three.
Number three.
Story number 3. The North Korean state-sponsored hacking group Scarcraft has been linked to a cyber attack on IT infrastructure and an email server for the NPO, and this is the name of the company. It's Machine O Stroy Enya, a Russian space rocket designer and interconnected ballistic missiles intercontinental ballistic missile engineering organization. Let's go to Kevin Walters with more on this story.
North Korea has apparently hacked and infiltrated a prominent Russian missile company. Not once, but twice. The hack has been discovered by cybersecurity company Sentinel Labs, and the story of the discovery is quite interesting. The researchers have been investigating some data stolen from Scarcraft, a North Korean hacker gang. In that data, they found some emails written in Russian. Apparently, the emails belonged to a particular Russian company, and when the researchers checked its systems, they found 2 backdoors there. One of them belonged to Scarcraft, and another one was very characteristic of Lazarus Group, probably the best-known North Korean hacker gang. The company manufactures everything from ballistic missiles to spy satellites. It is owned by the Russian state and is a very important part of the Russian military-industrial complex.
All right, so let's talk about it. So this is really interesting, right? So thank goodness we have Sentinel Labs taken in for FireEye, since we butchered FireEye last week, and so best of luck to them. So this actual company for security knows what they're doing, all right? So Sentinel Labs...
help yourself,
That's right. Leverage the information, move all your FireEye contracts to Sentinel Lab. That discovered a huge deal with the missile maker that essentially realized now, you understand, North Korea and Russia have been friends for many years. They normally agree upon lots of items, but this was a state-sponsored, from North Korea, attack using the variant OpenCarrot, which is a particular attack that uses a distribution DLL file that supports proxying communications through the internal network. So it hacked into the machine. It used an old school way of loading this backdoor, which essentially had a total of 25 commands, including run a file and run a, I can't even pronounce that now.
Are you having trouble?
Reconnaissance, file and process attributes, emulator scanning, and file system and process manipulation. So the big
reconnaissance.
Reconnaissance.
Right?
Sorry,
Okay, there you go.
reconnaissance. And but the biggest part is the file system and process manipulation that they are built to do. So essentially, what you could have is you could have North Korea go on in, take over controls of Russia's missiles, launch them through these processes to another neighboring country, and essentially create World War III because Russia's security is lacking. Now, Sentinel Labs, what's that? This is like absolutely 100% able to be done by using multiple attack vectors. Essentially, this company has a significant target for espionage. The state was able to amplify the probability of another breach at a later time and was able to steal plans, processes, and everything that North Korea needs to do to be up to speed on what Russia currently has for their missiles. So instead of doing the research,
are they doing it so they can build their own missiles? Is
that's
that what you're saying?
That's what the process is to be thought of as what they were doing it for.
Okay.
So they have not spent a lot of R&D on creating missiles. So why do you need to if you can just hack into the Russian
They
plan?
always like are launching things into the ocean and stuff.
So they clearly aren't doing very successful jobs. So now they're going to start using Russia's information that they hacked into, and Russia was caught kind of backdoored into this process on a very simple way of making sure that they could be taken care of. And you had to have an American company, Sentinel Labs, actually do the investigations to see what was going on. So that's the story there. All right. Well, that ends our top technology stories of the week. So we can start World War III here. We have rappers that are stealing money from Bitcoin people.
I think we should go back to that one and talk more about that one.
Okay.
That was just absolutely hilarious.
Well, that ends our top stories of the week. We are going to take a break. When we come on back, buckle up because we're going to be going straight ahead with Gwen Way. We're going to be talking about keyboards and some hacking processes that can go with that she brought up at the meeting. And she has, of course, her special gadget on Gadgets and Gear. We'll see you right after this commercial break. Hello, listeners. We're excited here at TechTime Radio, aren't we, Mike?
Oh, no.
We have an announcement to make. We are so excited to be a part of the new launch of iTalk Radio Live, the internet 24/7 streaming service. You will still be able to listen to us live here at Kixie 880 and KKNW and all of our affiliate stations, but you'll be able to listen to us at 8 a.m. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday now. We look forward to this new opportunity to provide you TechTime Radio every weekday. And again, you can always catch us online at techtimeradio.com. Well, welcome back to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm. Tech Time is a weekly hour technology show that talks about current technology in a simple format without having to geek out. Brought to you by myself, Nathan Mumm, and Micro Day. We just had our first whiskey tasting during the break. Now let me tell you about what we are sipping for our pick of the day. During the show today, we have chosen the Black Velvet Blended Canadian Whiskey.
Was there caffeine in that?
No, it's 80 proof, $7.99 a bottle.
Well, you just really whipped that real fast after drinking.
Well,
there might be like Red Bull in it or something.
This is okay. So it's a glass bottle.
Yeah, you like it, don't you?
Okay. Here's what we got from Heaven's Hills website. Black Velvet is blended at birth, distilled and aged 3 years in oak. Remarkably smooth, slightly sweet, with a clean finish. Hints of caramel, vanilla, coconut, and rye spiciness. Now this is from Heaven Hill, Canadian whiskey, aged 3 years. It's 48% alcohol by volume, so we're at 80 proof. The mash bill's undisclosed. And so what's your first take on this? What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, it's not bad.
It's not bad. So we've had Canadian Mist, which is the worst whiskey we've ever had, right?
Yeah, I mean, when I say it's not bad, it's not bad, but it really doesn't have a lot. It's kind of like drinking watered down Kool-Aid or something.
Water, yeah, it does have a kind of a sweeter taste to it, right?
Yeah, there's a sweetness to it, but it's like drinking water.
It's like
It's like flavored water.
Like flavor, it's
like if I took my absolute best bourbon at home and put a little bit in my glass, and then
You let the ice
and then-
sit there
No,
for
and-
weeks.
no, and then just poured a bunch of the tap in there, and
Yeah, it tastes okay.
it's
All right.
kind of it's kind of what it.
Well, it's not horrible though. It's not an instant thumbs down by any means.
It's not an instant thumbs up either.
Okay, well, we'll see what we do at the end of the show. With our first whiskey tasting completed.
I mean,
let's-
it's smooth, but
Okay.
I don't know if that's because it tastes like water. I don't know, maybe.
Our feature segment today, we have, of course, Gwen Way joining the show. She's an expert in cybersecurity during the day and a game board geek in the evenings. Producer of TechTime Radio and our gadgets and gear gal. Let's get ready to start our Comcast video stream to start our next segment.
What's new in our gadgets and gear?
All right, Gwen, welcome to the show today. How have
Hi,
you
Gwen.
been?
I've been very well. I am so sorry to hear that you are drinking the La Croix of whiskeys today.
Oh, have you had Black Velvet before?
I have not, but
Okay.
it has that magic word Canadian in it.
It
You
does.
should pronounce it LaCroix, so it even sounds bad.
It sounds
Even better, yeah.
Isn't that that water, LaCroix water, whatever it is?
LaCroix, yeah.
Yeah, something
Yep.
like that. Okay.
Every-
All right. Okay.
Americans pronounce it LaCroix,
LaCroix. All right.
which
well,
I used to do.
you know, this whiskey isn't that bad. It's a $7.99, so you could buy like 10 bottles of this compared to
Yeah,
what Greg was.
this is your perfect whiskey price point.
It's $7.99, so it's under $10.
There-
All he needs to
yeah,
do is
that's
boil
all.
off the extra water, and he might have.
All
like,
right. Hang
no
on.
problem.
Hang on.
I'm
All
guessing
right.
that's where the price comes from.
okay.
All the water you're drinking.
Gwen, now let's talk about keyboards. As an article just surfaced this week, researchers are now stealing passwords using only keyboard sounds. A team of security researchers in the UK have created a system that can listen to your keystrokes and record exactly what you're typing, even over web conferencing apps like Zoom. To be clear, it
That's
isn't an
crazy.
active threat in the wild, more proof of a concept so the security managers can be aware of potential dangers, which as soon as they say it's not an active threat in the wild, that means as of tomorrow it will be. Researchers from Durham University, University of Surrey, and the Royal Hollywood University of London developed a two-step process recording a selection of keystrokes from a specific keyboard via a composed vector, like a compromised vector, like a smartphone loaded with a targeted malware, then using the recordings to train an algorithm to determine the audible differences in the sound of each individual key that you hit on the keyboard. But the
Okay,
data...
all right, so we're reaching out a little bit here.
What's that? Well,
So-
we're not
so
reaching because they got
this-
95%
No,
accuracy.
no. What I'm saying is that this
program.
malware
Yeah.
can tell an individual key's sound,
Yes.
and then attach that to the letter that you're using,
Yes.
and
Correct.
then decode it.
Yes.
That's
It's
crazy.
kind of a throwback to like the late 80s, early 90s, where people were recording the sound of coins dropping into phones
Okay.
and then playing them back and getting credit for that.
Oh, I remember that with the old payphones where you could
Yep,
actually
the
hear
freakers.
Yeah,
Ah.
you'd have the little recording up there, and then
you
you
guys
could just
have
put
a
it.
little bit more knowledge about some of these things than I do. I don't,
You could just put it up to the phone, and then
I-
it sounded like the coins were dropping in, and you could make a free phone call.
clink, clink,
Yep.
clink.
You didn't have one
It's
of those.
like trying. No, no.
You didn't have that.
No, I was a good guy and used my quarters in the payphone.
Oh, okay. You should,
A payphone was something you had to put money in order to use it,
okay.
and use dial tones in order to.
Well, this is 95% accurate. So tell me a little bit about it. We brought this up last night at our production meeting. So now, if you're using Zoom or Skype, they're going to tell you that it's only 93% accurate. So
Right.
now that's still way higher in the accuracy rates, and from those accuracy rates, then you can create logic
Okay,
from
but
that.
is this for just any keyboard or is it for all keyboards? Because like
all
my
keyboards.
Surface
Yeah.
keyboard doesn't make any noise.
Oh, it does though. When you press on a key, if
There's
you listen
noise.
to
It's
that,
just very quiet.
it's just very quiet noise.
Okay, well,
So it depends on the sensitivity of the
I'm
microphone.
really trying to understand how my old clickety clack.
Yeah, a mechanical keyboard.
Yeah, how that makes any significant noise difference that somebody could figure out that when it clacks just this certain tone, that's the K sound. I'm not sure how that.
Well, because you hear the clacking sound.
These-
the
these pe-
distance,
these-
the distance between the
Now,
actual noise
if
itself
they're,
on the
if they're
keyboard.
using some sort of triangulation device too,
Yeah.
is that what's
So here,
going on?
hang on.
Probably
So a
part of it.
MacBook Pro and an iPhone were a part of the test. Essentially, the training system needs to hear each key press 25 times in a row in order to create a reliable training system. So you got to hit Q 25 times, and you have to hit W 25 times. So it can actually hear the different range of where it's located on the keyboard.
Okay, so this
it knows
is
what it's
using
doing.
sounding board sort of echolocation
Yep.
to figure out where everything is.
Yep.
Okay, that makes more sense than just hearing the sound.
And essentially what it can tell by the strength of your keys, because sometimes keys like Z and X are really not used as compared to E's and A's, and so it will actually hear a difference on that spring tension of when you're pressing it because it doesn't get pressed a lot.
Okay, we've gotten into the realm where people have really too much time on their hands.
Well, no, but no, actually, this is think of how scary this would be. Let's say you're talking with a vendor and you don't know who the vendor is. They're trying to sell you something, right? And you're busy doing something there, and you have a conversation chat, maybe going back and forth with somebody. They could actually have you say, "Hey, can you log into your bank? Don't show it us onto your bank stuff. We just want you to go and look into your account right now. We're going to send you something right here. Take a look at it." So you could even be off screen thinking that you're all secure, and they could be recording all your key logins so they could go back and log in.
Yeah, well, see, now I can understand how people would fall for that, but this is just this is a typical way people enter into these conversations anyway. You know, fraud is an easy thing to do when you have participation from the person.
Yep.
Like they'll call you up and
Very
say,
true.
"Hey, we're trying to verify your account. Can you give us your account information?" "Oh yeah, sure." Blah blah blah.
So Gwen brought this
But
up. Now,
me-
Gwen, has your company worked on any of this yet? Have you? Because we talked about this last night. Pretty breaking news. Have you guys had any clients yet that you've had to deal with this on?
We haven't had to deal with it as of yet, simply because it's not in the wild. It's something that the researchers worked on. They've only given away some of their methodology. They have not released the app, to the best of my knowledge.
Correct.
So what I'm saying is we probably need to keep an eye out and watch for the University of Surrey to get hacked and then somebody to lift it.
That's right. That's what's going to happen is they're going to break into the university, which has low encryption security. They're going to have emails going back and forth between professors.
This is the I had an argument earlier about technology versus old school writing stuff on paper.
Okay.
And this is
Who'd you have that argument with?
With the people in my office.
And what'd they say?
We were talking about the technology and how it's awesome that we can do all this stuff with technology.
Oh, you're talking about that Laserfish program, right? Okay. Well, Gwen knows about Laserfish. Me and her both worked on that project.
I was talking about other stuff too, but you know, at the bottom line is the more we get into this tech stuff, the better it is to go back to the way we did it prior to
having a notebook at your office that you have in a locked drawer.
This is
more secure.
This is hugely ironic in the human sphere here, that we have created all this technology and still the best method is using the same method that we were using prior to all this stuff that we were complaining about back then.
Because it is more secure.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
So I'm old enough to remember that, so I'm like, yeah, let's just turn off everything.
Just think when you have like a young staff at a company.
I could go back to mailing checks in for rent and stuff. I could do that.
You could do that.
Yeah.
So when you have like an early,
I just can't stand standing behind a old lady who can't remember how to write in the memo line. You know, at the grocery store.
Well, I just gave one of our a worker that I work with. I gave him a phone cable. He had no idea what a phone cable was.
He had no idea.
He has no, because he grew up, his very first phone that he had was a wireless phone system that he had. So he had no idea what went into it. So he's looking at it. He's like, some brand new network cable. It's some new fiber or something. It's like, no, that's like RJ11. That's an old school cable. But okay, well, continue on. The reason we're talking about keyboards is I think it kind of ties into our gadget and gear here. Gwen, what do we have for our gadget or gear that you want to talk about today?
It's actually pretty cool. It is a mechanical keyboard.
Okay.
The project is found on Kickstarter and is called LumiDeck. LUMIDECK.
Okay.
And what it is not only a mechanical keyboard, so you got your clicky clackies there, which we all love, but it also includes a touch screen that you're able to connect to your computer as well. So you suddenly have the ability to not only use this mechanical keyboard that a lot of people enjoy, but you can also move things from your regular screen down to the touch screen and actually just zip through with your finger like you would on a tablet.
Okay, so
it's a tiny
computer, but it's not a computer because there's no processing.
Can these people still hack me and listen to my keystrokes and figure out what I'm typing?
Well, mechanical keyboards, I would actually venture, this is my guess, that if you go back to mechanical keyboard inputs, it's going to be difficult to actually get the clickety-clack.
Well, that's what I was trying to figure out earlier, and you were like, "No, it's like
because they're sending signals when you press this. They're sending audible signals that they can detect at a very high rate when you press each of these keys currently on your keyboards. But
a clickety clack is even louder. So if they're using sound,
that's exactly it. Though it's louder, so it's producing more echoes and more added noise that it has to sort through.
So go get yourself that old computer keyboard that you have.
My Commodore 128.
Yeah, there you go.
I traded. I traded.
You have to put 5 pounds of weight into.
I traded a Chevy Chevette for the Commodore 128.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, all right, that's good. Okay. All right, so
it was a really good car.
It's a keyboard and touch screen. Now, what's the resolution of the touch screen? Because this kind of makes a difference. Is it HD capable? What's the resolution?
4K, actually.
Okay.
So it's really high resolution. The site itself shows a couple of different uses for it. And I think the most interesting one is actually using that touchscreen for editing, either video or sound. I think it would be very useful. Another thing that you can do is if, for example, you are keeping an eye out for a package, you can throw your Ring display up there and watch it while you're doing other things.
Okay, so it adds a second monitor.
What we're not getting across here is what this. So what this looks like is this big fat keyboard.
Yep.
With a half of a regular screen computer, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That sits there like a regular computer.
Yep.
And the demo version that we were looking at, the person was removing the touchscreen and had it like this
sideways,
big long thing.
So you can do landscape or you could do it portrait way.
Yeah, which
exactly.
was
And
really
there's
funny because
stand.
it was like 2 inches on one side and 25 inches on the other, or some weird.
Yeah, so it's got a very small radius because the idea is that you can put this in any type of luggable suitcase type of deal.
I guess my question is, why would I want to use something like this? I mean, aside from the fact that it makes clickety clack sounds.
Okay.
That I had no problem with until we got onto this section.
Well, so let's say you wanted to use a 10 key. Can you use a 10 key currently on your setup that you have over there right now on the Surface?
No, I haven't been able to use a 10 key for years because they stopped putting them on keyboards.
Well, guess
this
what?
keyboard has it.
That's right.
Okay, so instead of buying a 10 key, and
exactly.
I mean, I use a 10 key every day.
Some people do.
Just because.
If you're an accountant or you're into any type of numbers, a 10 key is probably one of the most important.
When
aspects.
I'm working, I do miss the 10 key when I have to do rapid
input of numbers.
Yeah,
it's much quicker to do that on Excel.
So this is the 10 key. It acts as a hub, so you can use it to plug in other peripherals as well. You could plug your mouse into that rather than into your computer, and it would still communicate through the keyboard. And you have that additional touch screen. You guys like gaming,
Yeah.
So you could actually set that up to help you with your games as well.
And the keys are hot swappable. So let's say you spill that milkshake in the middle of your keyboard. You can pull each of these keys out, clean the keyboard, and then put the keys back on, and you won't have any problems.
Like my old clickety clack.
Like your old clickety clack. That's right.
That is now the official term for old keyboards is clickety clack.
And I love
so you're gonna get your old notebooks out.
Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get one of these things. I'm gonna plug it into my monitor.
Okay.
Because that's how it works, right?
Yeah.
I plug it into my monitor.
Yep.
And then my monitor is not touchscreen, so I can pull stuff off of the monitor from my mouse onto this touchscreen, and then I can manipulate it the way I want to with my fingers.
That's correct.
Exactly.
Except if you have a Mac OS.
Oh, well, see?
So if you have a Mac PC,
I guess you're
work.
SOL.
Well,
because you're all about Macs, aren't you?
I have both, right? Don't I have a Mac?
Yeah, but you're always talking about how awesome Apple stuff is.
Well, Apple stuff does work. Tend to be a little bit easier to work than other stuff. But it does not work on the Mac OS. I looked through all of their information because I maybe was trying to buy one of these, and then all of a sudden it didn't work for the Mac stuff, and I'm like, oh, you know what? That's such a great thing because I have 3 PCs at home that it'll work just fine.
Okay, well, aside from really, I mean, not really having any real need to get this for myself.
Yeah.
and why anybody else would want to get this for themselves except for the complete tech nerds like you.
How much does it cost, Gwen?
How much does it cost?
Yeah, how many people have backed it?
So it actually has been backed by 38 people.
Wow,
Their
38.
initial goal was $5,000, and they're up over 27,000 now. So it's going to happen.
So that means it's got to
Wow,
be expensive.
those 38 people really put in a lot of money.
So
They put in a fair amount of money. So right now there's still the super early bird
okay,
available.
all right.
It's $500.
Okay.
It's pretty steep, but I think the technology is actually
I can go
good.
and buy a new Xbox for less than that. Why?
Well, hang on now. Don't be
does the
trying to
Xbox have a
justify it.
touch
This is
screen?
gadgets in
Well,
gear.
you know,
It's a touch
I'm just trying to
screen.
figure out why someone like me would want it. I mean, people
Yeah.
like I get it. I get you
Okay.
would want something like this because you got all kinds of weird stuff going on. But
Yeah.
as far as I'm concerned, what am I going to be doing with this that's really going to make my life any
Let's say you
different than it
traveled a
is?
lot. Let's say you travel. You don't, but let's say you were a person that traveled a lot
Mhm.
and you wanted to take a screen with you. If you have this portable device with the keyboard, you can take a screen, and then when you go into
Yeah,
a
but I still
hotel
have to
setup-
have the computer with me, right? I still have to have my laptop.
Well, you still yes, but you could hook in your laptop to be to the side, and then you can have this additional item that was there. So when you travel, now all of a sudden you have your laptop and you have a second screen without taking a second screen with you. So it
And
all
I can-
folds up and is portable.
Yeah,
Exactly. I can
even though the
tell
second
you-
screen is like this ridiculous
It's small.
elongated
Yes.
card.
It's kind of funny looking, but speaking from experience, when you work at a job where you have multiple monitors and then suddenly get driven down to just one because you're traveling, having even a small, strange sized monitor would
That
be
looks
good.
like a string of 3x5 note cards.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Okay. Well.
All right, where can we find this again? Last time, Gwen, where can we go find this?
You're going to go to Kickstarter.com
Okay.
and search for LumiDeck. Again, it's LUMIDECK.
All right. Well, Gwen, thank you so much for being part of the show every second Tuesday of the month. You're a vital part of what makes this show great. All right. We'll see.
Bye, Gwen.
We'll see her. She's like, oh, that was really
She's
nice
like,
for you.
Yeah,
Well, I haven't heard that ever. That was a great segment. We thank Gwen for being a part of the show. That ends our segment now. Gadgets and Gear up next. We have This Week in Technology. So now is a great time to enjoy a little whiskey on the side, as we will be doing so during the break. You're listening to Tech Time Radio with Nathan Mumm.
This is Mark
And Greg.
for Copiers Northwest
With a terrific offer.
called Printer Care Plus.
It's simple. Buy HP printer cartridges from Copiers Northwest and we'll service your current printers for free.
That sounds too good to be true.
It's made possible due to our HP Copiers Northwest relationship.
Copiers Northwest is an HP Platinum partner.
One of only 2 in the entire Northwest.
And now with Printer Care Plus,
Copiers Northwest will provide free printer service.
as long as they purchase genuine HP cartridges from Copiers Northwest.
That's right. IT departments no longer have to service printers.
Or fix paper jams with Printer Care Plus.
They can focus on more strategic initiatives.
And let our experienced technicians keep their HP printers up and running.
Sounds like a love-love relationship for IT departments.
Don't get too carried away. So how do they get more details on Printer Care Plus?
Call Copiers Northwest today, 206-282-1200, or visit copiersnw.com.
Copiers Northwest. New ideas, new solutions.
And now, let's look back at this week in technology.
All right, we're going back to August 6, 1997. Apple and Microsoft call a truce. At the Macworld Expo in Boston, Steve Jobs announces that Apple and Microsoft have signed a 5-year alliance. Bill Gates makes an appearance on a large presentation screen during this big announcement. As part of the deal, Microsoft committed to continuing the development of Microsoft Office for Mac over the next 5 years. Apple would make Internet Explorer the default web browser on the Mac. Apple and Microsoft would collaborate on Java capabilities, and Microsoft invested $150 million in Apple stock. However, the most crucial part of the arrangement is that both companies would cross-license all existing patents along with new patents over the next 5 years. Apple would drop their long-running series of patent infringement lawsuits against Microsoft, and Microsoft would pay an undisclosed amount of money to Apple. As a result of the 5-year agreement, Internet Explorer was the default browser on the classic Mac OS and the Mac OS X from 1998 until it was superseded by Apple's own Safari web browser in 2003 with the release of the Mac OS X 10.3 Panther. The common assumption in the tech community is that Microsoft's $150 million investment in Apple saved the company. Was Microsoft the savior Apple needed? We will discuss this more in depth on the Nathan Nugget of the Week. That was This Week in Technology. If you ever wanted to watch some Tech Time history with 2 years of video podcasts and blog information, you can visit techtimeradio.com or watch our older shows or join in the Tech Timers Facebook group to talk with us live all the time. We're going to take a commercial break. When we return, we have Mark's Mumble Whiskey Review and our Technology Fail of the Week. We'll see you after the break.
Hello, my name is Arthur, and my life's work is connecting people with coffee. Story Coffee is a small batch specialty coffee company that uses technology to connect people to each product resource, which allows farmers to unlock their economic freedom. Try our Medium Roast Founder Series coffee, which is an exotic bourbon variety that is smooth, fresh, and elegant at storycoffee.com. That's STORI coffee.com. Today you can get your first bag free when you subscribe at storycoffee.com with code TechTime. That's STORI coffee.com.
The segment we've been waiting all week for. Mark's Whiskey Mumble.
All right, today we're sampling Black Velvet Blended Canadian Whiskey, 80 proof for $7.99.
Yep.
From Heavens Hill. We'll go to Mark's Mumbles over here. Can you even guess what today is that he dug out of whatever obscure website he uses to get these things?
I don't know where he gets it. It's probably some type of, let's see, he wanted black velvet. So is it some type of dress-up type of deal or something?
No, it's National Sneak Some Zucchini Onto Your Neighbor's Porch Day.
What?
I don't know. It's not. He just said that gardeners have way too much zucchini on their hands, so sneak some zucchini onto your neighbor's porch day is a thing.
Oh, wow.
Those
Okay.
tasty zucchini plants are so rich in produce that even the most hardcore zucchini muncher will struggle to eat it all.
Okay. All right.
I don't know why.
I didn't know there was a
but
thing
thanks
for that. Sneak a
I
zucchini
think maybe,
on your
maybe Mark
porch
had
day?
a little bit too much black velvet when he got this.
Okay.
Which
Wow.
kind of explains his mumble.
Okay, what does he say?
Black Velvet was unfortunately created in 1951. This 3-year-old Canadian blend was originally called Black Label. The story goes that distiller Jack Napier renamed it Black Velvet after tasting how smooth and rich it was. Notice his name is the same as Tim Burton's The Joker.
Okay.
Is this foreshadowing? 7 decades later, it is one of the best-selling Canadian whiskeys in the U.S.
Absolutely.
Wow, that's hard to understand. The main reason for Black Velvet's popularity is without a doubt its price and why Nathan bought it. This bottle in the studio is why Mark, for some reason, could not make it in today. I bet Mike wishes he missed this week, too. Yeah.
Is that what he says?
Yeah, that's I'm reading it word for word.
Wow.
The bottle's to be held under $10. What it tastes like is almost besides the point. All that's really required of Black Velvet is that it to be drinkable. And drinkable it is most certainly is not. Please spend a few dollars more for anything else. If you are stuck with a bottle, hide it in the basket with your zucchini to get rid of it.
So
to get rid of his horrible liquid.
So your Chinese he says get rid of it with the zucchini.
Maybe
thing.
yeah, he came up with Zucchini Day to give you a place to put
All right, Mark, thanks for that mumble. As always, whiskey and technology are a great pairing, just like the pairing of Han Solo and Chewbacca.
Are you serious?
Right, Mike?
Yeah.
All
Copy
right.
the paste, buddy. Copy
Okay,
the
let's
paste.
get ready for our technology fail of the week.
We are out of time. Congratulations. You're a failure.
Oh. I failed, did I?
Yes.
Did I?
Yes.
Did I?
Yes.
All right, this technology fail comes to us from Tesla, but this might be a failure the consumers love. Tesla hackers have permanently jailbroken the paywalled features of a Tesla. So let's talk about that. We've talked about that a lot on this type of deal.
If
you buy a Tesla,
car companies are starting to put microtransactions in there.
So if I want
subscription services,
heated
to get
seats, I
heated
have to
seats
pay
and-
something.
yeah.
If I want better acceleration, I have to pay for something. If I want my radio to be able to have bass, I have to pay for something. All these have different things. Well, a team of hackers essentially have worked to put the end to Tesla's microtransaction styles because of a security chip exploit. Now, Tesla is the tip of the spear when it comes to software-defined vehicles. The automaker is constantly pushing out updates that add new features or modify existing ones to its vehicles, but sometimes Tesla locks the functionalities of parts physically installed in your car already behind a paywall, which is a practice that other automakers are frequently adopting. We're looking at you, BMW. Stop it. Just stop it. Car manufacturers, stop doing this. As you might imagine, though, just as with devices like iPhones, hackers have attempted to jailbreak Tesla's vehicles with limited success. Some of the attempts worked, but most of them failed the security exploits necessary to execute these hacks and were patched out by software updates from Tesla, rendering them ineffective. From some of their cycles at the beginning, however, it looks as this team of hackers from Germany and security researchers have used 3 PhD students that have found an exploit in Tesla's AMD processor-based media-controlled unit, or MCU, the team that tricks the car into thinking a certain purchase has been made. This means the feature that requires microtransactions like the heated steering wheels, footwell lights, or even the $2,000 acceleration boost can be turned on for free via the hack. Why is it so interesting? Is because this hack is based on the AMD processor. Therefore, Tesla can do nothing unless they go in and replace the processor to have this taken out. Essentially, you will soon be able to go on in and unload over $15,000 of costs to unlock them with a standard jailbreak. The team plans to talk about all of this at the Black Hat 2023 Cyber event that will be saving details for their presentation. Now, let's talk a little bit about this. Essentially, automakers are either going to have to go on into these cars and pull out the whole processor and put a new one in, or they're going to have to allow this jailbreaking to happen. This is going to be a big deal. Now, Tesla has their terms of agreements of when you purchase a vehicle that you won't actually use a third-party tool to hack into their systems, but this doesn't hack into their system, so legally it's hacking into the processor that they use from AMD. So AMD's processor had a flaw that was exploited to send these commands to.
Yeah, it's a loophole.
It's a loophole. So, with that, now it's time to go to Mike's mesmerizing moment.
This is Mike's mesmerizing moment, presented by Story Coffee. Visit storycoffee.com.
All right, Mike, in your view, is hacking a vehicle to get all of the features that you purchase when you get this vehicle considered a crime?
Yeah, that's a broad statement.
Oh, well, it is.
Is it? I don't know. Because, if you're signing a contract and then you breach that contract, that's technically against the law, right?
Okay.
So you can be penalized for that.
Okay.
I don't know how. But if you buy a Tesla and you agree to all this stuff and then you hack it using Tesla's whatever, technically they can brick your car, right? They can make so nothing works.
They could say. So now all of a sudden, you said I spent $50,000 for a car, and now you're going to tell me I can't drive it because I found a loophole in a processor you used?
But this is a different situation. This is a loophole because they're not attacking Tesla's
correct
things. They're attacking the actual processor, which is not part of that contract.
Correct.
So this is where we get into the question of what is your level of morality and your level of sticking to the rules. Okay, I can't this stuff because I think this is just money grubbing BS that corporations are trying to do. And if we look at this as from the back end, they're essentially giving us ways to get more money, squeezing more money out of the deal.
Okay.
And there is always a part of me that's going to be like, yeah, let's just hack that stuff and get rid of it because that's BS.
Yeah.
But we have to think about it in terms of, and I can't answer this question because I don't speak for everybody and their moral high ground.
In your view. If I could get you a hack and you had a Tesla.
In my view, the point is I'm not going to buy a car that's going to have microtransactions set up in it. So that's the point here.
All right,
if I had that car, I would be very upset and I would probably consider it, but I'm not going to buy that car.
All right, let's go to the Nathan Nugget here real quick.
This is your Nugget of the Week.
All right, I'm going to do a teaser. My long story regarding Microsoft I'm going to do next week on the show. So I'm going to say, what if you're rushing and you're out of time at an airport and you can't find your gate and you want to make sure your flight is on time, or if you just landed and you have no idea where your luggages are at, guess what? If you have an Apple device, you can now start a new note. That's the app built into your Apple device. Type in the abbreviation of the airline. So for Alaska, it's like AS. British Airways, it's BA. American Airlines is AA. Then type in your flight number, and immediately in your notes, you click the Done button, and it will come on up and tell you what is going on and what the information is that needs to be for your trip itself.
Yeah, I can do that in Google and get the same results.
No, it's not. It's better in notes. That's my nugget for you.
That's your iPhone stuff.
That's right.
That's for iPhone users.
Only. That's right. Okay. All right. Let's get to our pick of the week here.
And now our pick of the day for our whiskey tastings. Let's see what bubbles to the top.
Thumbs down.
Thumbs up. Thumbs up.
Are you serious?
Yep. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for joining us on TechTime Radio. We hope that you had a chance to have that moment today in technology. The fun doesn't stop there. We recommend that you go to techtimeradio.com and join our fan list for the most important aspect of staying connected and winning some really great monthly prizes. We also have a few other ways to stay connected, including subscribing to our podcast on any podcast service, from Apple to Google and everything in between. We're also on YouTube, so check us out on youtube.com/techtimeradio, all one word. We hope you enjoyed the show as much as we did making it for you. From all of us at TechTime Radio, remember, Mumm's the word. Have a safe and fantastic week.